He's not one of my favorite people.
School?
My boyfriend that passed away was his best friend.
Ooh.
Ex-boyfriend. Looks like they both phone, so.
Ms. Smith, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Mr. Smith, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right, we're on the record here about 9:32 in the matter of Kristen Smith versus Brandon Smith. Ms. Smith, I've got you at 123 East Main Street in Addison. Is that a correct address?
Yes, it is.
1110 Church Street in Adrian is your address, Mr. Smith?
That is incorrect. I recently
Yes.
just moved.
What's your new address?
It is 9910 Sand Creek Highway, and that's in Weston, Michigan, 49279.
What's the name of the town again?
Weston, Weston.
Is that Lenawee County?
Yes, sir.
Okay, never heard of it. All right. This is a hearing scheduled as a consequence of our office being apprised that Mr. Smith may be not fully complying with his child support payment obligation. Our respective caseworker will give each of you a verbal summary of the status of the file, and give both parties an opportunity to respond to that summary, and I'll make inquiry as to all the relevant issues presented. The caseworker will now proceed with a summary.
So this is an actively charging docket, charging $578 a month, which is a breakdown of about $132.87 a week. The total account balance today is $7,537.06. The last payment applied to this file was in the amount of $855 on October 28th of 2019. Prior to that was a payment of $350 on October 9th of 2019. Mr. Smith has had 0 previous bench warrants, no show cause for the past 12 months, 0 failure to appears, and no prior contempt. The reason for this hearing is non-payment of child support. And that's it.
Very good. Mr. Smith, are you working?
I am, sir.
Where do you work?
It's called Koraleski Greenhouse.
Could you spell that, please?
Yes, I can. It is Koraleski.
Koraleski Greenhouse?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and where's that located?
That is in Petersburg, Michigan. Do you want the address for that?
Please, that'd be helpful.
Yes, sir. It is 18703 Lulu Road, which is Lulu, and
Okay.
that's Petersburg, Michigan.
Petersburg?
Yes, that's correct.
Zip code?
49270.
And how long have you been working there?
Oh, well, 7 months now.
Okay. Are you paid hourly or salary?
Hourly.
Okay, and how much do you make per hour?
$11.
How many hours a week do you work?
It averages right around 30 to 40. I do have check stubs if they need to be sent in or whatnot.
Just curious, if you've been working for there 7 months, Mr. Smith, why no payments on this file?
Well, honestly, I've been I moved out onto my own, so I've been working on paying bills at my house and, trying to get off on my own. So I have been in contact with Kristen quite a bit, and I'm working on it. I really am. So pretty
Okay.
much I'm thinking, as far as once it, the paperwork comes to them and they'll start taking, money out of the check, I'm sure I can get caught up pretty quick.
Okay. Ms. Smith, anything that you'd like me to know in response to Mr. Smith's testimony?
Yes, and I'm not sure if we can do it today, but if both parties agree, right now I have full custody, but over the last year, he has had her 50-50, and I had told him that, if we go back to court, I'm willing to adjust our custody situation in order for his child support to be lessened. I understand his situation. I'm not trying to come at him for a bunch of money. So if that's something that we can adjust today, I would.
Well, what do you propose on the issue of custody?
50-50.
Well, right now, I assume you parties have joint legal custody.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I assume your divorce judgment gives you both joint legal custody,
Yes.
and the judgment gives you sole physical custody and affords him parenting time.
Yes.
Okay. And he has had the child for how long now, in greater amounts than the judgment gives him?
For the last year, he gets her every weekend. He gets her a couple days throughout the week. We work really well, co-parenting, swapping. He watched her like a week I went on vacation.
Okay.
I have no problem.
Are you seeking any change in the custody status of the child? Let me rephrase
yes.
the question.
Okay.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Well, I just know that when our divorce was final, I have full legal and full physical custody, with him having, it was supervised visits with his sister. That was 3 years ago when the divorce was final. Since then, we've worked it out on our own. So I would like him to have, both of us to have 50-50 joint legal and joint physical custody. That way he has more of a chance to catch up on his own bills and pay child support. I understand the amount is rather high when I have full physical custody of her.
Okay. How old is the child?
How old?
Yeah.
She's 3.5.
Is it Mayan J. Smith, 11/10 of 16?
Yes.
Okay. So you want me to prepare an order, excuse me, that gives you and you joint legal, joint physical custody. Is that right?
Correct.
All right. And under that scenario, what would the orders say in terms of defining when you have the child and he has the child? Are you there?
Yes. I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
What would the order say, ma'am, under the new order that gives him joint legal and joint physical? When, under that order, when would you have the child and when would he have the child?
Yes. We would do 1 week on, 1 week off, or weekends.
Okay, you said 1 week on or weekends. I still am confused in terms of, would you
We could do
continue to,
one.
would you continue to have primary physical custody? And are you proposing that he have a specific parenting time schedule?
Yes.
So in that regard, what would you propose that defines his parenting time?
He would have her every other weekend, and then, we've just been kind of doing it, like I said, like we work really well together. So if he has her a couple days during the week, he has her a couple days during the week.
Okay.
I'm just trying to help him out when it comes to child support and the amount that he has to pay. And he has been having her a lot more than the order that is set. So I'm just trying to lessen his child support amount so he can take care of himself without paying so much in child support when he does see her and have her a lot more than what the current order is.
All right. So Are you more concerned about possibly reducing his support now as opposed to entering into any amended custody order?
Yeah, that's fine.
So you want me to, again, I'm just asking, you want me to just to keep the current order in effect and maybe draft an order that says, per the party's consent, fathers shall have parenting time with the minor child at times and places as agreed between the parties. Would that be more acceptable?
Yes, that would be fine.
Okay, so you work well together, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll keep the current custody provisions in effect, ma'am, and just merely amend the parenting time schedule that basically allows you and he and you to come to some agreement as to afford him sufficient and adequate time with the child. Would that be acceptable to you?
Yes.
Acceptable to you, Mr. Smith?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, ma'am, what you would propose with respect to the issue of child support. Right now, it's $578 per month, which is the weekly equivalent of $132.87. What are you seeking to be done in regarding the child support issue?
Um,
And
I
again,
would say,
if I could ask you, since weekly amounts are better dealt with and easily computed as opposed to monthly, if it's right now it's $132.87 per week, what do you believe would be fair and appropriate to possibly reduce the current charge to a lesser amount? What do you think would be acceptable?
I would say 50 a week, given his income and the amount of time that he spends with her, and he provides
Okay.
everything she needs.
All right. And do you have sufficient income to take care of the child when the youngster's with you?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So 50 per week would be $217.50, 50 per week at 4.35 weeks per month. Your position on that proposal, Mr. Smith, that'd be acceptable to you?
That is acceptable, sir.
Are you employed, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
Where you work?
I'm a foster care worker at Catholic Charities in Lenawee County.
Oh, okay. And ma'am, you want to make this child support charge effective?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Would it be acceptable to make a new child support charge? You want to make it effective today?
Correct.
Acceptable to you, Mr. Smith?
That sounds good.
Very good. And all these arrearages that have accrued, you want enforcement, I assume, on those arrearages, ma'am, is that true?
Yes.
Very good. All right. So the only thing we're changing is father's parenting time schedule. The custody provisions remain unchanged. And we're changing the child support charge of 50 per week, effective 6/22/2020. And we're going to send an income withholding order to your employer, Mr. Smith, the Koraleski Greenhouse in Petersburg. If it's not, you've been greatly benefited by having your charge reduced to 50 per week. And I'm assuming you could put a little bit more on these arrearages as opposed to if your charge was $132.87 per week. So
Yes, sir.
what do you propose in that regard, Mr. Smith?
I'm sorry, what was that last sentence?
How much would you propose to pay in addition to your weekly charge of 50 per week?
Honestly, right now I could do 100, and then
Very good.
because it's kind of
That's
slow
good.
season,
Sure.
so it will be picking up, so I can pay more towards that here once the hours start picking up. But
So with your consent, ma'am, acceptable that he pay $50 per week current support, plus an additional $50 per week on arrearages for a weekly payment of $100. And we'll send that income withholding to your employer. Mr. Smith, if you do not see the money coming out of your paycheck, it's your personal responsibility to make the $100 payment until such time as the monies are withheld. Acceptable?
that is acceptable, sir.
Okay, do you need it? Do you know how to make the payments?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we can send you some coupons, but if you, in fact, you know how to do it, then you're well ahead on terms of making your payments, all right? Any questions, ma'am, in
Yes,
terms
sir.
any questions, ma'am, in terms of our matter here today? Anything further you need to address?
No, and sorry, I stepped outside just because my daughter is loud. So I just want to double check. It's supposed to come out of his check, right? Because I know that he had tried setting this up in the past and nothing ever got pulled out of his check. So the courts will take care of
Yes,
sending the notice to his employer.
and we'll put an additional provision there that if he does not see this money coming out of his check, it's his personal obligation to make the payments. Correct, Mr. Smith?
Okay.
That is correct.
Caseworker?
Okay.
We just did the income withholding order as we speak. Just want to let the parties know of that fact. Okay. All right, anything further, ma'am, that you'd like me to know, or Mr. Smith, that you'd like me to know? Anything else?
No,
No
thank you.
further questions from
Very
me.
good. Each of you will receive a new order, 2 orders in the mail, one from our hearing here today and a separate order that amends the parenting time schedule. Okay?
Okay. Thank you very much.
Sounds
Thanks,
good.
parties. We'll
Thank
talk
you.
about it. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.